You have 3 voicemails.
So let's start with mine. Primary, secondary, high school in Vietnam. It trained me to be fast.
That's what she said.
Because if that shit kid is in acting,
That shit. Did you just call your kid a shit? If that shit. So your kid is a music failure. I have to be very explicit here in terms of my example to draw out the point, right?
yes.
Whereas my kid is working in Tesla.
Yep.
Hello there.
Welcome to the show where we have the convos about Vietnam, you know.
Hello there. Welcome to Convo Comrades, a conversation with the community about Vietnam. In the previous Topic or Two episode, we discussed the history of education and why is there Asian expectations and such a huge emphasis on education in Vietnam. Hiếu and I then shared our journeys through primary school all the way to university. In this episode, we're gonna continue on and reflect on that. Let's begin. Your course sounds like fun. The skills of arguing, the skills of backing up your argument, finding flaws in someone else's argument. It's valuable. And I don't think I have that skill. I learned accounting. Okay, I can add up numbers according to regulations. That's it. So I can find flaws in someone else's account work if they don't match up to regulation.
No, but look, I think there are pros and cons. So like I mentioned, it's very individualistic, right?
Yeah.
In politics. And for those who don't know, I did a bachelor's in international relations, but then I did a master's in international business. That's when I went to business school. So I know how long felt because I studied in business school as well for my master's. So I studied with, people from India, from China, from Far East as well. So there's a huge contrast. There's an absolutely huge contrast between the two sides. One is very individualistic. The other is very group focused because you have a lot of group work. You have a lot of group projects. You have to deal with other people. You have to work with other people. You have to deal with free riders, right?
Yes.
And that in itself is a very good skill to have and very good experience and exposure to have. But on the other hand, those people, their presentation skills and how confident they are in presenting their points is not as strong as those in politics. And then on the flip side, those in politics can't calculate for nuts. Give them numbers, they will be really scared. And that's the reason why I did a master's in international business, because I want to achieve that balance. And it's very helpful for me, for my particular career now in consulting, to have a good balance between quantitative and qualitative.
That's great, actually. Now, looking back at your journey, I feel you are very well developed in all areas, sports, physical to argumentative. And
I wouldn't say well developed, but I have good exposure in all areas.
Yes. And that's important because you need exposure to know that it's out there. Sometimes I'm not even aware that there's a skill for it and there's ways you could learn to argue better. I'm not aware. I thought, okay, you argue, that's it. But turns out there's a step-by-step guide to finding. It's all about step-by-step for me.
There's no step-by-step guide.
But there's a technique, right?
Yeah.
There must be a technique of finding flaws. When you do it well enough or long enough, then you realize a pattern.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point. There's not really a step-by-step guide, but it's a skill that you train yourself and then you develop based on some sort of pattern in your thinking. It's very intangible, right? It's super intangible.
Yeah.
But I think it's good experience. And I think it links back to a point that I want to make now is why do we study? Why do we have education?
Yeah.
Because in my university years, that's when I picked up vlogging, right? And when I started YouTube and I created this vlog, which has, yesterday I checked 14,000 views, not a lot, but I talked about why do we study and why we're studying for grades, right? What is the purpose of studying? I did this like 5-6 years ago. And I think the argument that I made in that video still resonates with me, right? Because at that point in time, I felt that people study for grades. But to me, study in its purest sense is to acquire knowledge. You study to acquire skills and you study to acquire knowledge. Many people study for grades. It's kind of like taking the IELTS.
Yeah.
We talked about it with T, right? Or legacy in our first Golden Guest podcast.
Yep.
People study the IELTS just to get the grade and then they forget most of it. They don't care about the skills or how they're going to use it. That's why a lot of people with very high IELTS scores, when they come over to the UK, they can't communicate.
Yeah.
They're not confident enough to communicate and they struggle a lot. So that's probably also the reason why I chose international business for my master's. A lot of people say, bloody hell, you did a bachelor's in international relations. You should be a master's in international relations as well. And I thought, no, because during my time studying international relations and politics, right, there were certain modules that talked about international economics and the financial system. And I didn't understand anything. I felt like I couldn't be part of the argument. I couldn't join the conversation, right? Be part of the community. Because there were just terms and things that I wasn't familiar with. You know, talking about shareholders and businesses and stuff. I kind of had a vague idea, but I didn't really understand. I wasn't very confident in the actual concepts, right? And how they link together. So I thought, look, I need to beef myself up in this because it's a very important area in life. It's going to be talked about a lot in all sorts of ways, in all sorts of mediums. So I approached it in the sense I want to acquire knowledge and I want to acquire the skill. There was a very high risk that I was going to get a low mark for my master's, right? Because it's a completely new area. You know, studying corporate finance. If it's interesting enough, if I'm feeling engaged and if I feel like I'm acquiring new knowledge and new skills, I will push myself. And by pushing myself, that will equate to high grades. I think the focus should be on gaining education in its pure sense, and then the grades will follow. That's the argument I made in that vlog. And I think that's still the argument that I have today. What do you think?
No, I completely agree. I mean, you know, an average person, including myself, look at education as a means to showcase your ability. I need education. I put that school on my CV. I put my grades on my CV. That will lead me to having a good job. Let's say I jump jobs. Okay, let's say I have many jobs. So if I have a good first job at a great company, I can use that again on my CV to go to the next job at an even bigger company at a higher salary. So it all comes down to ultimately I want to have a high salary, and that starts with my education and good grades. I feel everyone is sucked into this path. Education is not about knowledge anymore. It's about high salary, and there are many steps in between education and high salary, and that's you get pushed into grades, good school. So you don't study for knowledge. And I've been studying like that for my job. I just studied just to get a good job. And then when I got my first job, I felt like I need to study all over again, because the way you do things in practice, it's just very different to what you study in class. So in a sense, I also felt what I studied was a bit of a waste. You know, you spend all that time studying it. It helped a little bit, fundamental. But you could easily not study it, have this job, and you'll be okay because you learn everything again. So some part of me felt all the years I spent studying was a little bit wasted. I could be doing something else. But then if I were doing something else, I couldn't prove myself to get this job. They will see, okay, you don't have university, you don't have accounting. You're not getting this job. So increasingly, I feel education is being used as a badge more so than, like you said, pure sense of learning about something. When I learn about beat making, that's what education is like. That's pure interest. You're curious. I want to learn more. I want to do this. I want to do that. I do all it takes. I go online, this website, that blog, YouTube, and there's all sort of sites out there, Udemy, where you can learn now. It's amazing what you can learn by yourself. So it made me think, traditional institutions like universities and schools, are they becoming obsolete now?
Whoa. Hold your horses. We're not moving to that topic yet.
Okay, but let's start from there, and then we can talk about it more in depth. But part of me thought that. Because now I'm thinking I go to school to get good jobs, not to study. If I want to study about something, I go online. That's my way of thinking now. So it's a bit of a waste, right? This school, if it's just purely for jobs.
You pay a lot of money to go to university or to A-levels and all that stuff as well. You pay a lot of money. What actually are you buying? Are you insinuating that you're buying the brand? That's it. You're buying a line on your CV.
Yes. It feels like that.
Because to what extent do you think all of your accounting and finance knowledge can be acquired online if you are really disciplined?
100% of it can be acquired online.
But are you going to be disciplined enough to study at that level? No, right? It's definitely a no.
Yes.
What do you mean, yes?
If I'm intrigued by that, if I'm curious about that, I mean, if I love it.
You don't love accounting and finance.
Yeah, well, I love beat making.
But calm down. Beat making is fine, but I'm talking about accounting and finance here.
Yeah.
So you're only studying so much and in depth for accounting and finance to get your job because you've already paid how much money, like a bank's worth of of tuition fee, right?
Yes.
That's why you're forcing yourself to do it. So to what extent do you think that you're committing that much money in order to force yourself to study an area that you're not particularly happy about, but then it will bring you the job that your mum wants?
Then it goes back to a point that maybe I shouldn't be studying in the first place. I should start it with beat making by myself. Right? I'm saying my journey is questionable now. because I never started liking accounting.
I don't
auditing.
think anyone started. Imagine when you're a little kid, you must be really sad if you say, I want to grow up and be, an expert in accounting and finance.
No, accounting can be fun.
I will whack the kid. I was like, yo, wake up, man. You're supposed to say you want to be an astronaut or an artist or something.
No, but accounting can be fun. And I think its main motivation is money. You make a lot of money with accounting. And
you make a lot of money if you're good at other things as well.
Yes, but it's if the learning journey to accounting suits you and you can see it clearly.
But then isn't that convenience rather than you like it?
Yes, but you like money.
Then you like money, then you don't like accounting. You just like money.
And everyone has a different journey, but your journey to accounting, you feel like it's fastest to achieving money. So then your passion will transfer from money to accounting.
I don't agree with that.
No, I think that makes sense.
That does not make sense.
It makes sense.
No. You tolerate accounting and finance.
Yes.
Because you really desire money. I don't think you'd be passionate about accounting and finance.
Yes. You won't be passionate, passionate, but you will commit because you like money.
You tolerate, yeah. You put up with it. You're like, okay, fine, I'll just do it then.
But some people, I'm not saying this accounting is bad, Some people like it. Some people love the changing regulation and the fun
Sophie Chang or something.
difference between she was an auditor too, right?
No, she started in tax, but she did do accounting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, move on.
So yeah, that's my take on it. And family pride, that's a big one, right? There's an argument out there that parents want their kids to achieve what they couldn't.
So your mom wanted to be an auditor?
Exactly. Could be like that, because it starts with admiration, right? This person is an idol to me, but I know I cannot be like that. Maybe my kid can be. And my kid is like me.
Mm-hmm.
So if my kid achieve it, it's like I achieve it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
And if my kid goes to the UK, oh yeah, I feel like I go to the UK because my kid is like me.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a connection between parent and child, and parent always regard their child's achievement as their own. So they would push a little bit of their desire and their goals to their child, whether they know it or not. But I think that's happening.
Yeah.
Like your father, politics, right? Your father loves politics. That's why, okay, I want my kids to do that a little bit like me.
Yeah.
That can be a danger too, right? Like what's happening to me. Accounting. And then later down the line, you feel lost. I admit it. If I continue auditing, I left auditing now to a different job.
Which is very similar to auditing.
No, I don't think it's similar. It's quite interesting.
Oh, is it? You sure?
Yeah. It's a financial crime.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, if I continue auditing later down the line, if I got promoted to certain positions and then I feel lost, then at that time, it'll be too late.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, okay, I have this high salary. If I quit everything now, who's going to feed my kids?
Golden cage.
I just need to plow through being unhappy. Yeah, golden cage.
Mm-hmm.
So I left and that's it. So that's the danger of picking something that you're not entirely sure about. But also, I think a point has to be made about it's never too late to start something, right?
Yep.
So if you find out that you're 30 or 40s and then you don't like accounting, maybe it's not too late to go into the field that you really like.
Yeah. I guess it's very circumstantial. It really depends on your own personal experience and your situation and how much responsibility you have. and whether you have enough buffer to manage the risk. Yeah, it's difficult to say that, but there is definitely that option, but you need to consider it carefully.
Yeah.
But going back to the point of the parents, do you blame them?
No, of course no. If I have a kid and, everyone's knowledge is limited, I'm in this field. Let's say I'm still in accounting, right? I'm in this accounting field. I can only help my child if they are also in accounting. If they are in...
My father didn't help me. No, it's just because like we're in different countries and different time zones and
yeah, of course you're studying. But if you were to go back to Vietnam and do politics as a career,
right, okay, got you.
Yeah, so if I had a kid, I need to direct that child to accounting. I want to, because if that kid is in acting,
that shit. Did you just call your kid a shit? If that shit.
No. If that kid.
All right.
Anyway, I couldn't help them. Career-wise, advice-wise, jobs-wise, I felt helpless.
Really? I don't.
So you're saying if your kid do anything that you don't do?
Anything. All right. You think of an example for me, and then I'll tell you how me as a parent can help them.
Okay, your kid loves to clean.
What?
And your kid loves cleaning.
Come on, realistically, like no one. What do you mean clean?
Cleaning offices.
What do you mean cleaning offices?
Cleaning.
What do you mean?
Cleaning.
Why would the person want to clean?
I don't know. You told me give you anything.
Fine. I'll deal with it. All right.
Okay, cleaning.
Right. So if the I'm gonna whack the kid in the head. Yo, wake up! Are you sure you wanna clean for the rest of your life? And if the answer is still yes, then I want to break down the problem. I'm just gonna break down the problem. Okay. I'm gonna ask. Okay, so what is the situation? What do you want to do in the future in the area of cleaning?
Yeah.
So break down probably the different types of businesses or opportunities that person can go into. Right. So either you do a freelancer, so you just clean other people's houses. Right?
Yeah.
Or you open your cleaning business, all right? Or you go into some disruptive tech cleaning space, right? So, you can create a platform to connect cleaners with houses, right? Or offices. Or you can invent a new cleaning machine.
Yes.
Design, a new technology for vacuum cleaners, for example. Right? So I break the options down, and then ask them what they want. Right. And then if they go into business, obviously, then, all the fundamental business skills that I have is still applicable.
Yeah.
You understand the competition, you understand, the customers, you understand your value proposition, your capabilities, the product, so on and so forth. I can still help them with this area. And if they go into, the public sector side, what's the public sector side of cleaning? The Ministry of Cleaning. What the hell is that?
Environment.
Yeah, environment. Okay, that's great. That's the future, right? So you can think of policies and their stakeholders and how you can, bring about a better society. So I think at the end of the day, parents, and maybe this is just me here, and maybe it's because of the education, the upbringing, the background that I have. But as long as you have the core skills in terms of how you determine one's career, the core skills in terms of how you look at a business, you can always help your kid. Doesn't necessarily, I don't have to be an expert in cleaning. I think Mango can tell you that I'm not an expert in cleaning.
So that is because you are relating. And I feel like you're pushing your kid towards where you can help them more, right? Because let's say your kid purely wants to go to someone's home and clean. That's it. That's their passion.
Okay.
That's fine then.
I'm going to think it's going to be very unlikely. But I will go down to the root cause of why there's this passion. If that person can justify to me, I'm calling that person now. I'm not accepting as my kid. No, kidding. If the kid can justify to me why there's this, unbreakable passion to clean other people's houses, and then I can understand it, and then that kid can make it clear to me.
Yeah.
And make it clear to themselves why they want to do it and the meaning behind their life and their goals. So why they want to clean other people's houses. I'm not going to stop them. It's fine. But then I'm going to help them optimize it. How do you make sure that you always get employed?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's fine.
And it's easy now that we're talking about it so objectively. But when you are in family, dynamics can change. Communication can break down. right? So there'll be those difficult moments where maybe the kid wants to talk to you, but they felt, oh, okay, I don't want to talk to you if he's not proud of me or something like that. Then communication breaks down. So in a context of family, it will be harder.
I think so, yeah.
And not all parents can have the skill of analyzing, breaking it down like you do. They just feel like, oh, okay, cleaning is not good. I don't know how to analyze it and make my kid understand that. I just know it's not good. So
That's true, yeah.
They just keep shouting, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Just keep shouting. Is this
So-
from your personal story?
Yeah, that's it. And now I can tell my mom that I don't like auditing, and she understands.
Yeah, because you live half the world away from her. Of course you can tell her that. You're not
So I
scared.
think communication is key.
Okay, let's talk about jobs then.
Yes, jobs.
So we touched on it. So Long, if your kid now tells you that they don't want to go into a corporate, they want to go into a startup, what do you think?
I think it's great.
It's great. Are you sure?
Yes.
So you spent a bank's worth of tuition fee on the kids' education in the UK, went to university, and now leaving university to go to do a startup.
Wait. Before we we make that assumption, right?
Yeah.
Lan and I
Yeah.
were also discussing this,
Mhm.
and we thought, is university really necessary?
Mhm.
And it might be necessary if the kid wants to go to a corporate job.
Yep.
But if we help the kid realize what they want in life,
Mhm.
maybe university won't be necessary. If it's a startup, okay, go to your startup business park, talk to them, find out experience. That's education. You don't have to learn accounting. You can learn accounting on Udemy online. That's it. No need of qualification from Harvard. That won't help you with your startup. So you can save a bank's worth of money there. So the argument that we've been having is not argument, the discussion. We rarely argue. We're
Yeah.
happy. Yes.
No, you never argue.
Yeah.
You never
Yeah.
get hit by land.
No, I don't. I'm safe. I'm very safe.
Long, wink, or cough if you're in danger.
Anyway, the discussion is we're going to break away from this path from education, grades, jobs, high salary. We're going to break away from that.
Okay.
And we're going to make them realize, what do you want in life? What skills you need to achieve? I don't care about grades. You can have 5, 6, fine. But if you want to have corporate job, you better have 8, 9, 10 grades. But if you don't want corporate jobs, fine. Work out what you want.
All right, I'm going to test you now.
Okay, yeah. That's me.
Okay, so I get the idea. I really like it.
Yes.
All right, the first question is, how would you know at which point in time they're mature enough to make the right decision in terms of what they want? I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
Back in Raffles Institution in Singapore for my O-levels and A-levels, I told my parents that I wanted to be a professional footballer.
Yeah. Yeah.
In retrospect, that's not going to happen because of so many reasons, right? Professional footballers, they start at a very young age. They do proper training like much earlier than I did. They have more talent than I do. Well, I doubt that. I don't know. I think in terms of talent-wise, it's probably on par.
Yeah.
But in terms of their physique, they're naturally more physically gifted. You know, muscles, bone structure, all that stuff. Height, so many things, right? And they're just in the right environment, right? So that's not going to happen. But at that point in time, when I was training in my football team, I genuinely loved it. It was tiring, but I really liked it. And I was stressed over all the academic stuff. So there are a number of factors that influence my perception at that point in time. But I told my mum, like, hey, what do you think of me being a professional footballer? I don't think I was mature enough. What do you think?
I understand your example. And I think the solution to this is make them realize they're responsible for their decisions. I think the job as a parent is like a coach, a life coach. You don't steer. And this links back to the movie you were recommending the other day, Soul, that Disney movie. It's perfect. It shows how you should live your life and how you should find your passion. And the movie is like there are many souls ready to enter the world, and each soul will have a coach finding their passion. Try different things out until they find that spark. The movie called This Element Spark. So when you have spark, you're ready to go to Earth. And I think the job as a parent should be like that. You are with this soul, your kid, for for a long period of time until they mature. Your job is not to direct them in one area, but to help them get exposed to as many area as possible until they find their spark. And maybe they find a spark. But back to your point where, okay, are they mature enough to know that this is the real thing? I think the answer to that is it doesn't matter. They like that at that point in time. You lay down clear to them that, okay, these are the risks. If you end up pursuing this for 2 years and then you stop, you lost 2 years. And then these are the consequences of that. Do you agree? Do you accept? And if they are well aware of that, then fine. Let them pursue it. Coach them, help them. There's also timing. Everyone timings is different. In a corporate, you join the company, with your intake, there's 10 people. But not all 10 people will get promoted at the same time because everyone has a different time scale, right? Not everyone is ready to be promoted. And some people will look at the people left behind and they will say, oh, shit, look down on them. Or they're not well enough or they're not good enough. But I think it's wrong way of looking at it. Everyone is not having the same time frame and we shouldn't push everyone too hard to do something when they're not ready to.
Okay, I'm going to use a very provocative example here to make my second point.
Okay.
Get ready.
All right.
It's coming your way like a high-speed train.
Okay, give it.
Yeah, exactly. Drink your water. Get ready. Okay, so I'm going to play a scenario here, okay?
Okay.
And I literally just made this up. And it's going to be very vivid. So imagine... This is completely hypothetical, okay? Mango and I have a kid.
Okay.
You and Lan have a kid, born in the same year, so same age, same generation. I make my kid go to university and get a corporate job.
Yes.
Go into business consulting or investment banking or whatever.
Ooh, yeah, ooh, nice.
And then your kid decides not to go to university. And then you've had the chat with your kid.
Yes.
All right, I know the risk. I'm fully responsible, teenage hormones. They're like, all right, fine. I don't care. I know the direction of my life. I will be in control of my life. They want to be a musician.
Great.
It's tough to be a musician, especially in the Vietnamese market.
It is.
They're not going overseas to the UK to do university.
Nope.
You need to know so much and you have to have so much in terms of connections and you need that break in order to really propel you and at least make you known, right? Because everyone can be a musician these days, especially with YouTube and digital. After 3 years, they make $0. They actually lose money because trying to make music videos.
Yes.
Whereas my kid got accepted into, I don't know, prestigious firm.
Yes.
Google.
Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, Amazon, whatever.
No, Goldman Sachs. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Goldman Sachs. Tesla or SpaceX. That's probably the future.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now, because we're quite close, you have a very direct comparison now.
Yeah.
So your kid is a music failure. I have to be very explicit here in terms of my example to draw out the point, right?
Yes.
Whereas my kid is working in Tesla.
Yep.
And my kid is working in the strategy and planning department, trying to help the future of the electrification of the automobile industry.
Is this your dream now? This is your dream.
No, this is not my dream. No.
Projecting it to your kid.
No. I'm trying to draw a very, very explicit example here. So my question to you is,
yes,
what you've said makes sense.
Yes.
But in reality, this might happen long.
Exactly. And it's important that parents don't compare your kids to someone else.
Yeah, but the example that I'm giving is it's very hard not to compare.
Exactly. And I will compare in my head and I will feel, I'll just admit it. I'll feel sad. I feel, oh man, my kid could be like that. But I won't say it. That kid will definitely compare themselves already. Being if we're close, we visit each other, we see the many Tesla outside your house. And then coming to my house, there's no Tesla, it's just a bicycle or something.
And just like guitar. A broken guitar, yeah, exactly.
Some broken guitar, a few speakers, something like that. Then the kid would compare within their heads already. So the job as a parent is just not to compare, not to put that additional stress. So what I would do in that situation, right? Because I can only control myself. I cannot control my kid. I just work with them, because my job as a coach, as a parent, is to just help them enjoy life. Maybe they don't have to be a millionaire like Sun Tung MTP, Maybe they could be a singer at a phòng trà. What is that? Tea house.
Cafes.
Like cafes. You have a gig 2 nights a week or something like that, and that's okay pay. You can live your life, and then you can become a music teacher. There are many ways in many different industries. So comparing will make you feel bad about yourself, and you waste time feeling bad about yourself where you could be enjoying it. I compare myself all the time, so I know it. I think the mistake is you only compare to the people better than you in one aspect.
But if your kid is losing money,
That's fine. I'll help them. I work with them.
no. But what I
Okay.
mean is, like, other people, they'll probably not make a lot of money, but they still make some money.
So we need to work towards it, right? Devise a plan. Okay, how to make some money being a musician.
Okay, next example here.
Okay.
So I like that. I really like the approach. My next example would be, to what extent will you backtrack? At what point do you think we're going down a dead end? You realize that, okay, your kid's actually not vocally talented. Look, the kid's probably really good in terms of karaoke level.
Yeah.
Like, the kid will blow away all of their peers, right? When they go to a karaoke. But just to make it in the industry, to be recognized by the millions, like to be at the level of Ha Anh Tuấn or whatnot, or at least try to be at the level of Ha Anh Tuấn, you need to have some sort of raw talent.
Yes.
And the kid's talent is just not good enough. You hear a lot of kids in, The Voice Kids and, all these game shows, right?
Yes.
They are really good, but they're just not good enough to be in the industry. When do you have to backtrack as a parent?
I don't think backtrack is the only option here. There are many options. Do you know the concept of blue ocean, red ocean?
No.
It's a business concept where red ocean is there's a fish and all the sharks, all the people trying to eat this fish, making it all red. So let's say Ha Anh Tuấn, that market segment, you have to be a shining vocalist, is a red ocean because everyone tries to jump in that. But there's a blue ocean. So if you change your thinking a little bit and target a different market, you'll be in an ocean where there's no fish eating your food.
So
What
like
we-
sing in Mongolian or something.
It could be like that. You need to find a differentiator. So if you sing well, but you don't sing that well, don't pursue that red ocean. You can auto-tune. How about you learn a different, you learn electronic music, you sing like a robot. Or, you just create your own ocean and don't compete where there's already fierce competition. But people don't realize that. And, as a parent, as a coach, it's important to help your kid realize that before it's too late. They keep going into a direction where there's very little chance of success.
That's a great response.
Yeah.
That's a great response. And I think you answered your own question before, because you're obviously not an expert in the music industry, I'm sorry to say.
Yes,
but
of
then
course,
you're
yes.
applying concepts and, understandings from business and just life in general to help your kid.
Yeah.
So you don't really necessarily need to be an expert to help your kid.
Exactly. It's just a thinking. So I think thinking is important. It changes your perspective on everything. You can feel sad and then you change your thinking, you feel happy immediately, right? You feel that there's a way.
Okay, so you talked about really debating whether your kid should go to university or not. So what's the ideal scenario for you then?
The ideal scenario is the kid knows what they want to do in life
Early on.
early on.
So you got to beat it out
change.
of them.
No, but it could change. I mean, it's definitely fine to change.
Yeah, football.
So as long as they know and they know the pros and cons, the consequences of not making it, great. Then we'll help them. Okay, how do you gain knowledge in this field? Is it best through a university or is it best through skill-based learn online? So if this passion that they want requires a badge of Harvard, good grades, then okay, let's try and take the steps to go to Harvard. But if this job that they want to do just requires skills like coding, I don't know,
Cleaning houses.
or cleaning houses, that's fine. We can learn that on YouTube.
Okay, so I like this. So first of all, it's defining the what. What do you want to do?
Yes.
What do you want to specialize in? What is your passion area? And then it's defining the how,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
So how are you going to achieve this? Which platform you're going to use? what's the mechanism you're gonna use. So that's really the how you're gonna do it, right?
Yes.
Where's the why?
The why. Doesn't it link back to the
Is it the what? Okay.
Yeah.
So what and why, and then it's the how, is it?
That's right. Why are you learning it?
Okay. Next question here. To what extent do you think that normally people's passion and the area that they really like is based on the failures and the mistakes that they've made in the past, right? So you need to go through a traditional route, for example.
Yes.
You need to be cramped down university experiences, or you need to study accounting and finance or whatever to realize that, oh, actually, I really like the other thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes it's not that clear cut to know immediately at 15 or 16 what the person really wants.
Yeah.
So how are you going to figure it out? If they can't figure it out, then the default is to go to university, is it?
I don't think so.
No?
And yeah, if they can't figure it out, then we give them more time.
Gap year?
Yeah, gap year, they can work, they could go traveling. I think the key is talk to people. You need to get exposed of people with different background.
Yeah.
Then you know more. It's like you did a master in this, a bachelor in that. Equivalent of that, but much cheaper, is to talk to people. Talk to people in that, talk to people in here.
Yeah.
Listen to them and compare and contrast for yourself.
The default for you is not university then.
No, it's not the university.
So the default for you and Lan, it seems like it's you don't want to commit university, you don't want to commit to the bank's worth of tuition fee.
Yes.
You really want to make sure you squeeze the passion out of them before you decide if university is the right path or not. So that means that they can grow up to become a 40-year-old man or woman.
Yeah.
And then they realize, oh, that's my passion. I want to be a consultant. So go to university.
And that's fine. And that's what the movie Soul, the Disney movie, truly show me. Everyone has a different
Holy
time.
shit, I didn't know it touched you that much. I mean, I was just recommending it, like, yo, watch it. And then you go, there's this guy in there who's like doing trading. And I watched that, I was like, oh my God, Long has to watch this movie.
No, but I thought, no, it touched more than that. You know, I always felt if someone has something before me, but we started at the same pace, I felt down. I felt sad. Let's say I joined the same company, same time. That guy got promoted faster. I thought, why? Am I a failure? Am I bad? Something wrong with me. But that movie made me realize, no, that's completely fine. Everyone has their own time frame of realizing your own strength and weaknesses. So if my kid turns out to find their passion at 40, but throughout that 40 years, they live life, they talk to so many people, then that's a happy life. You know, and then finally they could do their passion at 40, which is also fine. Yeah. So learning is more about process and maybe less about outcome. Some other things like a job, maybe the outcome is more important. But I think when you learn something, if the process of learning is fun, it triggers more thinking and it's just more beneficial for you.
And you raise a very good point in terms of being able to acquire knowledge through other means other than universities now.
Yeah.
If you want to go down the traditional route of getting a corporate job, then university is probably the right way to go, right?
Yeah.
But the future, it's crazy because universities are struggling to keep up with the skills that are required.
Yeah.
For example, is there a course on startups? No, right? There's tons of that now. Is there a course on, you know, digital content creation? No, right? But it's becoming more of a chunk and a slice of the economy now.
Yeah.
You know, I watched a BBC documentary just like yesterday. And it was on, you know, this seminar in China that teaches you how to sell stuff through live stream.
Yeah.
And that's the big chunk of the Chinese economy and also in Asia as a whole. Right? Our parents like watch live streams on Facebook and then buy stuff online as well. So, you know, there are new demands in the market and there are new skills that are required in the market now that universities are not adapting well enough in order to teach and to provide those skills to the students. So what do you think about online teaching then? Do you think this is a replacement or digital universities?
Definitely it is a replacement. It's already happening with COVID. People are learning remotely, but that is still live, right? I think sites like YouTube, Udemy, where the teacher doesn't have to be live and just record themselves, can also work. So you can learn at your own pace. You can replay. You can replay and learn at your own pace.
What are you missing then? What are you missing? Because the content is there. It's similar to university. Do you lose out on that? If you're learning virtually, are you losing out on that environment and the social skills with other students?
Yes, I think you lose out on that group work. And when you study as a group, there are benefits. You challenge each other, you ask each other questions. But sites also have a chat function, so you can also ask and reply.
There is a much less incentive for you to be engaged if you're behind the screen.
Yeah.
You know what should happen?
What?
We should create our own mini class for our kids. Maybe add in like some other parents' kids in, and just a class of like 8 to 10.
And what? And teach them what?
And then teach them online stuff.
And charge them money. Yeah.
No, pool money together, pay for the subscription of like masterclass or whatever.
Yeah.
And then teach them that have a structured curriculum. Like on Monday you're learning about this, Tuesday you're learning about that.
Yes.
In all sorts of areas in life. And in early stage. You don't need to pay tuition fee. You're saving money long.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then what happens when it fails? And then you finish primary school, you go to secondary school. How do you apply to secondary school? I study at home in my made up classroom.
But that's an old system now. That's like money. That's like fiat money, paper money. We're now talking blockchain.
Oh my God! Don't hype it up, guys.
But
invest responsibly. No,
we're not
but
responsible for your losses.
my point is, if you realize that, okay, it's not working, because it's not going to work for everyone, right? If that style doesn't work, it's going to be so hard for you to go back to the traditional route.
Yes.
Which is safe. Am I right to say that?
You're right to say that to some case. But if we open the kid's mind up, right? We open it up, tear it out, think outside the box.
Tear out the kid's mind. All right.
There's nothing that a person can do without schools compared to a person in school. There's no knowledge that's hidden inside an institution. You can learn all that.
Aside from the corporate traditional route.
Yes, but in that sense, education is acting as a badge now. It's not acting as a knowledge hub. I feel like education institutions just exist purely because people want a badge for something. And they prove that in order to get a job. But knowledge-wise, anything can be learned outside.
So when to you, at what point to you, is it safe to start considering alternatives, right? So are you going to send your kid to traditional education for primary school, secondary school, and high school, and then you decide if you want to go traditionally or unconventionally? Or are you going to stop at secondary school? When is it safe? When does it give you enough risk management for you to start exploring?
This is a new area, of course, and then I'm only speaking from speculation and experience. I would say high school time. You go to your traditional school up until high school, but not focusing on grades, okay? Focusing on the child's process of learning and experience and exposure to different things, extracurricular activity, no stress on grades. At that point, I'll introduce online learning, things you can learn by yourself, self-discipline, those ideas to the kid, and then they could figure themselves out in a gap year or two before going to university.
I like that. I like the gap year concept.
Yeah, and some people might say gap year is like slowing you down. You'll be old.
Yeah.
But it's actually not. It's everyone has a different time frame.
Yeah, everyone's different. And a gap year can be seen as making sure that you're going down the right path. Because the most important thing is you don't want to be too fast, but then you're going down the wrong path.
Exactly.
And then you regret, right? That's interesting. Because, it's fascinating for me because it's so bloody competitive now, right? Because I'm witnessing the development of my nephews.
Yeah.
My brother has 2 kids, both boys, and they're in Vietnam at the moment. And it's so bloody competitive to get into good schools.
Yeah.
Even primary school. It's crazy. And the tuition fee is so high as well because it's an international school.
Yeah.
But then, you just have to do so well. They test you they actually have a proper assessment center for primary school kid. Like they test you how you react to things, and then how you play with other kids, and they'll see whether you're admitted into the school or not. So it's proper competitive. And then from that school, then it gives you the option to go to other schools, right, which are better in terms of secondary schools. And then if you go to good school in secondary school, then it goes back up to high school as well. So
It's a whole scheme. It's a whole system. You need to start early. And it feels almost like you're trapped in the system, right? You need to start being competitive at primary school in order to be at a better school, secondary, high school, and then, so I think it will stay here for a long time, this system.
Yeah.
But we just need to communicate this to the child that it's fine. If you go to a normal school, don't stress. Just learn and just find out what you like. Something that's important.
But look, to be completely honest, I'm very impressed by the school though. Because the primary school, now it's COVID, right? But they have like a whole Google system suite as well. So the kids actually present their findings, what they're doing online to the whole class. It's kind of like me at the moment to my clients. But they have slides. They tell you like, one slide is what are my needs? And then the next slide is what are my wants, right? And my need is, you got a bag of rice, you got some water, which is fine. That's a need. And then you got TV. To the kid, to Zindo, it's a need, which is very cute. And then for my wants, you got toys and all that stuff. So it trains you to actually have skills that are relatively relevant in today's world, virtual working, presentation, and all that stuff. But I think, it's a weird one when you go to university, because it's also an opportunity cost, isn't it, for some people?
Exactly. So I think now it's a good time to reflect on our journeys of education and talk about what skills do they train you, and do they train you well enough to prepare for the working world. Okay, so let's start with mine. Primary, secondary, high school in Vietnam, it trained me to be fast.
That's what she said. That's got to be a soundbite.
Train me to be fast in copying notes, pragmatic, memorizing. I need to tell you this story. I need to thank the Vietnamese education for this. In university, there was a subject where I didn't study anything. It's called issues in accounting or something.
Okay.
And I thought it's like they will present some numbers and you find issues with the numbers. Right? But no, it's essay type. And you need to write a whole essay explaining what are the issues with, backups and things like argumentative, the things you're good at. Things I'm not good at. And I'm always weak on essays. I approached this friend 5 days before the exam or something, or 1 week. And then I said, shit, I don't know how to do this. Do you have notes? And then this friend very nicely, oh man, I remember him forever. He said, yes, I have notes. I can give you the notes. I'm done with it. And it's like 5 or 6 pages of words. I memorized every single word of those 5 pages. I did not understand anything.
Oh my God.
Apart from, the sentence structures.
Vocabulary.
But I did not understand the points were being made. How they fit into the whole argument or something like that. But I learned all of that in 5 days. And I passed. So thank you. The Vietnamese education system has trained me so well to learn by heart in such a quick time, right?
Are you being sarcastic, or are you truly thankful?
I'm truly thankful now that everything is done. But to think about it, right? If I got educated in a different way that provoked my critical thinking, argumentative, understanding speech. Sometimes I don't understand people's speech. I don't understand their point at all. So if I had an education that I learned to zone out because the teacher always say nonsense. So I learned to zone out what they're saying and just learn by heart, copy the notes and learn by heart. That's it. I think it's a defense mechanism inside me. When people speak too long, I zone out. That's
okay.
So if I had a different education that provokes my logical thinking, argumentative, critical thinking, I may have approached this exam a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
But now that everything is done, I think it's also beneficial to look back and to reflect, right?
Definitely.
So memorizing skills, copying skills, doing whatever it takes to pass an exam. That's what I learned in a Vietnamese education. And towards the end, I learned a little bit about dancing, popping and locking with my crew. Shout out to
Okay, come on, let's move on.
so that's what I learned until the UK, where I learned, okay, now I need to think more. That's when I need to think more now. So that's my reflection, and probably a long time ago now. I don't know if public school has changed in Vietnam, but I do hope that they will change. So for the future generation, they could think more. I feel I don't think a lot when I was studying. Yeah. How about you? You reflect on what you've studied.
Fascinating. Okay, so guys, make sure that you listen to the previous episode of the podcast. Otherwise, you're not going to understand anything. For primary school, and that was in London, I think I learned to be open about different concepts and ideas, because I was in a church school, right?
Yeah.
And I was in a very international environment and a completely foreign environment. So I learned to be very adaptive.
Yeah.
And to be open-minded about new things. That was truly like something that I was really thankful for. Vietnamese education, I learned to be tolerable. So to be able to put up with something that I didn't like and then see aspects that I liked about it and to appreciate that. So for example, my English teacher and the friendship that I made. Singapore taught me the skill of being disciplined, being very focused and setting very, very high standards in whatever I do. And that's Singapore. And being able to have a can-do mentality. Like when I say can do it, I literally can do it. I must do it. Otherwise, I will sink, right? So it's the ability to balance academics with football, with social life, not so much the social life, but maintaining the scholarship, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And then in the UK, it's about enjoying myself and also the ability to develop very critical, argumentative, and there's a word for it. What's that skill?
Presentation skills.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, one of that is presentation skills as well. But the other one it's something to do with critical thinking. Shit, I can't remember it now.
What? Critical thinking, logical thinking, arguing.
tính phản biện. What's that?
I don't even know what that is. What is it? Like a defense?
Kỹ năng phản biện.
Defense mechanism.
No, it's not. I think it's probably critical thinking. Yeah, it's probably critical thinking.
Yeah, critical to thinking.
Yeah. And presentation as well, because that's when I started doing YouTube. So I presented a lot in front of the camera. So I'm quite comfortable in speaking in front of other people as well.
Yeah.
So that's that. There you go.
Yeah. So we both learn different things at different periods of education. There are some skills that you mentioned that I learned after you, purely because of the way education was given to me. But I think that's fine. Everyone has a different time scale and chances too. You know, my parents can only provide what they know best, right? If they don't know, then they cannot give it to me. Time will give me the opportunity to explore myself.
Okay, so before we wrap up the podcast, we had a poll on Instagram. I just want to let you guys know on the results. Okay, so we had around 5 questions, and here are the results. First question, do you feel your parents have unrealistic expectations? And then 64% said yes or most of the time, and 36% said no or never. That's very Asian. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Next question, do your parents compare you to other kids? 48% said always, most of the time. And then 52% said never or used to, but no longer. What do you think about that?
That's not my expectation. I thought there would be more yes almost all the time.
The 48% that says always or most of the times are being compared to the other 52%. That's why there's a split.
Exactly.
Okay, next question.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself being a tiger parent now or in the future? 40% yes, likely. 60% no, times have changed. So it seems like you're not the tiger parent, are you?
What's the tiger? What's the tiger parent?
You don't know tiger parent?
Like a very aggressive.
that growls and then eats deer meat.
Like, what's a tiger parent?
A tiger parent is someone who's like really hands-on in terms of managing the kid's life and sets very high expectations. And, you know, getting a 10 is not good enough. You need to get like 10 10s in your grades across all subjects.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tiger parent.
Definitely not me. I'm gonna be an easy, chilled, maybe not too chilled, but...
Is Lan going to be the tiger parent?
She said no, but I think she will. She's being a tiger partner.
She's already looking after one kid right now. All right, next question. Do you owe your parents anything? 82% says, of course I owe.
Yes.
But then 18% says, not really. What do you think about this?
For me, I would say, of course. Just think of all the money that they've spent on me. To think that I would spend the same amount of money to anyone else. I mean, that's just love right there.
Okay, that's a very transactional kind of approach to answering the question. All right, I'm going to be very provocative here and say you don't owe your parents anything, Long.
Why? How about the money?
My question to you is, did you sign up for it? Did you sign up to become your parents' kid?
No.
They chose, right? They made the decision. Correct?
They made the decision, yes.
Yeah. So when they made the decision, that's when they felt that they're responsible enough and financially responsible enough to raise a kid. Am I right to say that? Yes or no?
Yes.
At that point in time, did you choose a family? You had no say. Am I right to say that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Next question is, imagine in a scenario where they didn't do too well. Okay? So in your scenario, you're completely fine because you're quite fortunate. You've got a good job. You've got a good education. You're going to university in the UK and now you have a corporate job. In a scenario where, let's say, your parents are unhappy, the family's not functioning well, they're not able to provide you, you know, they scold you and they shout at you all the time. You didn't have a good experience.
Yes.
Do you owe them anything?
Yes.
They didn't provide for you.
Yes, they did.
They didn't provide for you.
They gave you some food.
Well, they give you crumbs.
What do you mean crumbs?
Crumbs of bread, like a pigeon.
But they teach me.
What if you have to go and find bread yourself?
Then they teach me how to find bread.
They didn't teach you.
By not giving me the chance to eat.
What if they didn't teach you?
They forced me. No, they forced me to learn for myself.
So if I take a knife and stab you right now, I'm forcing you to find a way to save yourself. So do you owe me anything?
If I don't die, I think I owe you.
You owe me?
Yeah.
Me stabbing you?
Yes. So
why?
I won't get stabbed again in the future. I may get stabbed by a different person, but next time I'm prepared.
Okay, so you owe me because I stabbed you with a knife.
Yes.
Then the next day I take a car and I hit you. You owe me again.
Yes.
And then I take a sword and I slash your arm off. You owe me again. That's ridiculous.
No, the third time is gonna be a little bit too much now. But second time is also a lesson.
You don't owe me anything.
I owe you something, but I'm not necessarily gonna pay you anything for it.
I don't understand. What do you owe me?
I owe you the experience I had.
Do you understand the word owe first? I don't think you understand the word owe.
I do understand owe. I mean, I use it to express that I appreciate that experience that you gave me.
Okay, so you appreciate the experience. You don't owe me as a person anything.
Yes. I don't owe you anything.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is you're only saying yes to the answer in our Instagram poll because you have a good experience, enough that you're happy with, you're content with, and that's why you feel that you owe your parents. But generally speaking, if you were to detach yourself from your own experience and think of it from an objective perspective, imagine that you're on the other side of the spectrum. You did not enjoy life. You think of committing suicide because your parents are bad. They're just bad people. They don't know how to raise a kid. Then you would think that you don't owe your parents anything. You didn't make the choice to be their kid. Am I right to say that? Yes or no? I'm not saying that all kids should think that, you hate your parents now. I'm saying that all I'm saying here is we should love our parents because most of the time they provide for you, they teach you, they give you the right experiences and conditions for you to do well in life. We should love our parents, But fundamentally, I don't think we owe them. There's a slight difference there.
I think we owe them.
Why?
If they don't provide for us, okay, if they provide for us, it's clear. There's a transaction of value being spent.
Was there a contract?
There's no contract, no.
Yeah.
But
They,
just
they chose to provide to you.
yeah, imagine I
Out
give
of
money.
love.
Yeah, imagine I give money to anyone, right?
Okay, that's a great example. Now you're giving money to a charity.
Okay.
Do you feel that they owe you? And if you feel that they owe you, is it a charity anymore?
If it's a charity,
Yeah.
then no, I don't feel because I'm giving out to charity.
Yeah. So they should be giving you out of love, not in the hopes that in the future you're going to buy me a house. Otherwise, are
Yes.
they investing in a worker?
Exactly. That's coming from the parent side. But from the receiving side, you always feel you owe them something. I'm not going to say my parents demand payment, but as I receive, you feel, like when you receive a favor,
Yeah.
you feel an urge to be nice to that person. Maybe that's a way of repaying them. You don't pay them back, but you pay them by emotionally being nice to them. You
Yeah.
talk to them.
Yeah, I agree. We should do that.
Yes.
I think that's a key word. We should, but we don't owe them that. we should feel like that, and
Yeah.
we should feel like we should give back.
Yes.
And if we do that, that's great. But we don't owe them.
I understand your point. You're saying fundamentally we don't have to do it,
Yeah.
but it's nice to do it. To be nice to our parents.
Yeah, out of love, yes. So I don't think we owe our parents anything because we didn't choose to be here. They made the decision. They knew that they were going to be responsible for a kid from 0 to 18 years old. And they should do it out of their own love if they want to.
Yes.
Well, actually, I think legally they have to, right? They have
Yes.
to raise the kid, right? So when they made the decision, it's their choice. I did not sign up for it. But once I am your kid, you're responsible for me, but I don't owe you anything. I should be very grateful for what you've done if I had a good experience, which I do, and you do as well, and most of us do. But I think it's unfair to say that we owe them something, especially for the ones who did not have a good experience.
Then in that sense, I agree. You don't contractually owe them something, but you emotionally
Still do not owe them anything.
no. It feels that you're. I mean, if you receive love and you receive money from them, you feel the urge to be nice to them, and that's when people press that button. Okay, I owe them something because they give me this phone. the only reason why I'm voting is because they gave me this phone.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the question that I really want to dwell on in terms of our Instagram post. I mean, let us know if you feel otherwise, but that's how I feel. If you really, really break it down. I'm not saying guys hate your parents. Definitely not.
No,
I love
no.
my parents as well.
Contractually, no.
Okay. Any other questions or any comments from the readers? I'm sorry, the listeners.
Yeah, we have 2 comments from 2 people on Instagram. Let's just read them out, okay? The first one is from Ha is the name. Ooh, one of our loyal listeners. Thank you, Ha is the name. And the question reads, what's the most ridiculous when I was your age thing your parents ever told you?
I fought a war.
Who fought a war?
My father.
Oh, did your father fight a war?
No, he didn't fight a war, no.
But he said that.
No, he didn't say that as well.
Oh.
I was trying to be funny, but then you didn't catch my humor.
Let me answer this question.
All right, go on then.
When I was small, growing up, this is not my mom nor my dad. This is from some uncle that visited. And I was eating one bowl of pho. And then I said, I'm full. I won't eat anymore.
When I was your age, I ate 5 bowls.
Exactly.
Oh, 5, exactly 5.
No, 10.
What?
I know. And
My
that's,
God, is he a buffalo?
I know. And then my reaction to that is that throughout the whole day? Because if it's throughout the whole day, then that makes sense, right?
That does not make sense. Who eats 10 bowls of pho throughout the whole day? Oh my God.
Then I thought that must be a lie because even now, or even when I was in my strong 20s, I could not eat more than
and you work
2
out, you
bowls.
go to the gym, right? So your metabolism rate is high, and then you consume a lot.
So how can you eat 10 bowls? It must be a lie. Or maybe the sizing was smaller back then.
Yeah, it's like rice bowl kind of size.
Yeah, 10 bowls. Yeah. How about you? Do you want to answer this?
No, let's move on. I got no stories. Sorry, Ha.
Next question is from Tooling17. Shout out to Tooling17. And I think it's a comment. It says, one thing that's missing in Asian family is the openness to talk about sexual health and consent. So this is a different topic, right? But I think we touched on a little bit on communication within the family earlier. It's not always objective and direct. There's some barriers there. And if there's a barrier to careers and passion, then definitely there's a barrier to sexual health and things like that.
Yeah.
But we'll cover this in a different episode, I think.
So. Yeah, I think so.
Sexual health.
Because this is very focused on education. Yeah. But that's a great question. We'll leave it to the next episode.
So thank you, Tooling17.
There's one more from Jin.Pumpkin.
Oh.
Who's recently sent it in.
Okay.
Will you let your children follow Asian or Western education system? Okay, we talked about it. You know, I'm sure this podcast has been quite eye-opening in terms of the new provocative ways, new ideas that we can think about parenting our kids. And then I think one more from _Zeung-hun. I wish my parents taught me personal finance. I think this is a great point. And I think this is something that needs to be remedied because, you know, schools can teach you all sorts of other subjects, right? History and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is everyone manages their own finance.
Yeah.
When they're an adult. And the education system at the moment does not teach you that, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I think this has to be baked into the core curriculum at a very young age. Doesn't necessarily need to be in university. It can be even as early as primary school. Of how you save and the act of saving, how that equates to further money down the line, how you invest, right?
Yeah.
Just the concept of investing and trading, passing money, trading one thing for another, trading a toy, a unicorn for a water buffalo. You know, you're probably in the wrong end of the bargain there if you're trading a unicorn for a water buffalo. But yeah, you get my point, right? This skill of personal finance and money management, I think is very important. And if you want to find out more, then please listen to our previous podcast with our golden guest, Andy, where we talked extensively about this topic. Okay.
Great.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in into this week's episode and the second episode of our podcast on education and Asian expectations. I think we dwelled more on the education aspect and less so on the Asian expectation aspect. It's completely fine. In the next podcast, we're going to have a golden guest. It's going to be a very, very interesting golden guest. We're actually going to speak to our golden guest now in terms of having a quick update chat before we record the podcast in the next couple of weeks or so. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Let us know what your thoughts are on education experiences, how you're going to raise your kids, how you're going to cramp them in terms of, you know, different areas of knowledge that you would prefer rather than what the kid prefers, or whether you're open to letting the kid explore their passion. Join the community on Convo Comrades at Facebook and Instagram. As for now, bye-bye.